Yo, what's good, Rich World fam? Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the wildest stories of dreamers who turn nothing into everything. Before we dive in, hit that comment section. Where are you watching from? New York, London, LA, Dubai, or somewhere else? And what's the date and time right now? We're about to take you on an epic ride with the story of Colonel Harlan Sanders, the man who built KFC from the ground up. This isn't just about fried chicken. It's about a guy who faced crushing failures, heartbreaking setbacks, and still rose to become a billionaire legend. Trust me, you're going to be glued to this one, so let's get started. Picture a small-town kid in 1890s Indiana, cooking for his family at age 6, because life dealt him a tough hand. That's Harlan Sanders, the future colonel, long before KFC was even a dream. Born in Henryville, Indiana, on September 9, 1890, Harlan's world turned upside down when his dad died. His mom had to work long hours, leaving young Harlan to care for his siblings. At 6, he was whipping up meals, learning to cook out of necessity. That early hustle sparked a love for food, but life wasn't kind. Money was tight, and by age 12, Harlan dropped out of school to work odd jobs: farmhand, streetcar conductor, anything to survive. This kid wasn't handed success. He was fighting just to eat. Life kept throwing punches. At 16, Harlan faked his age to join the U.S. Army, serving in Cuba. A year later, he was back, bouncing between jobs: railroad worker, insurance salesman, even studying law. But nothing stuck. He got fired from the railroad for fighting a coworker, and his law career ruined after another brawl. By his 20s, Harlan was married to Josephine King, starting a family, but stability was nowhere in sight. He tried running a ferry boat company, failed. Then a lamp manufacturing business tanked because someone else had a better product. Every step forward seemed to end in a fall, but Harlan didn't quit. He kept hustling, believing his big break was out there. In 1930, at age 40, Harlan hit a turning point. He opened a small service station in Corbin, Kentucky, during the Great Depression, a time when most businesses were crumbling. But Harlan saw an opportunity. Travelers stopping for gas needed food, so he started serving meals in a tiny dining area. His fried chicken, seasoned with a secret blend of 11 herbs and spices, became a hit. Locals loved it, and word spread. He wasn't just cooking, he was creating something special. Kentucky's governor even named him a Kentucky Colonel in 1936 for his culinary contributions. For the first time, Harlan felt he was onto something big. But life wasn't done testing him. Disaster struck in 1939 when a fire burned down his restaurant and motel. Most would have given up. But Harlan rebuilt from scratch, bigger and better. He pioneered a pressure-frying technique that cooked chicken faster while keeping it juicy, a game-changer. By the 1940s, his Corbin restaurant was thriving, serving up to 150,000 chickens a year. But then World War II hit, and gas shortages forced him to close. Another setback, another gut punch. At 50, Harlan was back to square one, with no steady income and a family to support. Most people would have called it quits, but Harlan's grit kept him going. He believed in his chicken, and that belief was about to change everything. In the 1950s, Harlan faced his darkest moment. New highway bypassed Corbin, killing his restaurant's traffic. At 62, an age when most are retiring, Harlan was broke, living off a $105 monthly Social Security check. But here's where the rich world magic kicks in. He didn't give up. With nothing but his recipe and a dream, he hit the road. Pitching his fried chicken to restaurants across the U.S., he slept in his car, drove thousands of miles, and faced over 1,000 rejections. Imagine hearing no that many times. Yet Harlan kept knocking on doors, cooking demos for owners, offering his recipe for a small royalty. His persistence paid off in 1952 when a Salt Lake City restaurant signed on, becoming the first KFC franchise. That spark ignited a fire. By 1963, over 600 KFC locations were frying up Harlan's chicken across the U.S. and Canada. His secret recipe, those 11 herbs and spices, became a global obsession. Harlan's face, with that iconic white suit and goatee, became the brand's logo. At 73, he sold KFC for $2 million, about $17 million today, but he didn't retire. He stayed on as a brand ambassador, traveling the world to ensure quality. By the time he passed in 1980 at age 90, KFC had thousands of restaurants in over 100 countries, generating billions. From a $105 check to a billion-dollar empire, that's the Colonel's story. But let's talk about those critical moments, the Nasdaq more, that defined Harlan's journey. Losing his dad at 6 forced him to grow up fast, cooking and hustling while other kids played. Dropping out of school at 12 pushed him into a world of hard labor, teaching him resilience. His 20s and 30s were a string of failures, fired from jobs, businesses collapsing. The fire that destroyed his restaurant in 1939 could have ended his dream, but he rebuilt. The war and highway bypass in the 1950s left him penniless, yet he hit the road at 62, refusing to let age or rejection stop him. Each low point was a test, and Harlan passed every one with sheer determination. What made Harlan different? He wasn't just a cook, he was a fighter. After every setback, he got back up. When he was rejected 1,000 times, he didn't see failure, he saw 1,000 steps closer to success. He perfected his recipe through trial and error, tweaking spices until it was just right. He wasn't born rich or connected, he was a regular guy with an extraordinary will. His famous quote, "There's no reason to be the richest man in the cemetery," showed his focus wasn't just money, it was legacy. That's why KFC's 25,000 restaurants today, with $2.83 billion in revenue in 2022, carry his name. Harlan's life wasn't all triumphs. He faced personal struggles too. His marriage to Josephine ended in divorce after years of financial strain. He battled depression, especially in his 50s when his business collapsed. Yet he found purpose in his chicken, pouring his heart into every batch. He was also a giver later in life. He donated to charities, supported churches, and helped communities, showing that success is about impact, not just wealth. One story stands out. During his road trips, he'd cook for restaurant owners' families, winning them over with kindness as much as his recipe. By the 1970s, Harlan was a global icon. He'd walk into KFC's unannounced, tasting chicken to ensure it met his standards. Customers loved seeing the Colonel in his white suit, shaking hands, telling stories. He wasn't just a logo. It's the soul of KFC. His net worth at death was around $3.5 million. But his real wealth was the brand he built, now worth billions. From a kid cooking for his siblings, to a man whose recipe feeds millions, that's the kind of globe-rich world celebrates. Let's talk about KFC today. With over 25,000 restaurants in 145 countries, it's the second largest fast food chain globally.
That secret recipe? Still locked in a vault, known only to a few.
Harlan's pressure frying method is still used, keeping the chicken crispy and juicy. His story inspires entrepreneurs worldwide, proving age, money, or background don't define success. Grit does. One fun fact. Harlan once got into a shootout with a competitor over a sign dispute in the 1930s. He survived, laughed it off, and kept building. That's the Colonel's spirit, unstoppable. This story hits home for Rich World because it's about turning dreams into reality. Harlan Sanders was 62, broke and rejected, but he didn't let that stop him. He drove across America, sleeping in his car, believing in his recipe. If he can go from $0 to a billion-dollar empire, what's stopping you? Maybe you're facing your own Nasdaq more job loss, failure, doubt. Take a page from Harlan's book. Keep pushing, keep believing, and fry up your own success. All right, Rich World crew, that's the story of Colonel Sanders, from a poor kid to the king of fried chicken. If this fired you up, smash that like button and share this with your friends. Drop a comment and tell us, what's your big dream and how are you chasing it? Subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next epic story. Check out our Elon Musk, Rolls-Royce, and MrBeast videos for more inspiration. Till then, keep hustling, keep dreaming, and live that rich world life. See you in the next one.